InvestorIdeas.com podcast.
Good afternoon and welcome to another InvestorIdeas.com podcast, looking at cannabis news, stocks to watch, as well as insights from thought leaders and experts. Today we're looking at announcements from Auxly Cannabis Group Incorporated, trading on the TSXV Venture as XLY, Sena Incorporated, trading on the CSE as SNN and OTCQX as SNNVF, and Kush Bottles Incorporated, trading on the OTCQB as KSHB. First, however, we looked at Canada, who moved another step closer to ending its prohibition of marijuana yesterday when the Senate approved legislation to legalize and regulate marijuana for adult use. Bill C-45 will now head back to the House Commons, which has already approved a previous version. Once approved in the House, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government is expected to move quickly to implement the legislation, with legal adult sales beginning as soon as August of this year. Canada will be just the second country and the first G7 nation to legalize marijuana for adults at the national level. The first was Uruguay, where legalization was signed into law in December 2013, and a limited number of pharmacies began selling marijuana to adults in July 2017. The Canadian legislation creates an overreaching national regulatory framework and enables each province to establish its own system of licensing and regulating marijuana businesses. Adults will be allowed to possess up to 30 grams of marijuana, and all products will be sold in plain packaging with clearly marked labels. Home cultivation is allowed at the federal level, but it can be banned at the provincial level. Okay, first looking at Auxly Cannabis Group Incorporated, who announced that it's changed its corporate name from Cannabis Wheat and Income Corporation to Auxly Cannabis Group Incorporated, effective today. Effective at the marketing opening, the common shares in the company commenced trading on the TSXV Venture Exchange under the company's new name and under the trading symbol XLY. Next, we look at Sena Incorporated, a North American provider of cannabis products and services, who announced today that its wholly owned subsidiary, CP Logistics LLC, has secured an extraction contract with Pharmacy Factory, a leading California cannabis brand. Under the terms of the agreement, the Sun Oil facility will provide them with the high-quality, ultra-purified manufactured distilled oil products, including specialized flavors, distilled oil formulations, to be utilized within vaporization cartridges. The agreement is for a 12-month term that may be renewed for an additional 12 months at the request of Pharmacy Factory at the expiry of the initial term. Sena, via ownership of its wholly owned subsidiary, Full Scale Distributions, LLC, and through its brand Vapor Connoisseur, will also provide them with specialized vaporization hardware and accessories. Pharmacy Factory's expertise is growing exotic strains high in terpenes exclusive for extracts. This strategic relationship with Sena allows both companies to showcase their expertise to provide for high-end cannabis extract products. And finally, we look at Kush Bottles Incorporated, a leading provider of packaging, supplies, vaporizers, hydrocarbon gases, solvents, accessories, and branding solutions for the regulated cannabis industry, who announced that it's entered into a definitive agreement with investors for the purchase and sale of 7.5 million shares of common stock at a value of 1/10 of a cent per share, and warrants to purchase up to 3.75 million shares of common stock at the combined offering price of $4.80 per share, pursuant to the registered direct offering. The gross proceeds of the offering will be approximately $36 million before deducting placement agent fees and other estimated offering expenses, and the company intends to use the net proceeds for general corporate purposes, including, among other things, working capital, product development, acquisitions, capital expenditures, and other business opportunities. The closing of the registered direct offering is expected to take place on or about June 12, 2018, subject to the satisfaction of the customary closing conditions. Alliance Global Partners is the acting as sole placement agent for the offering. That's all for today's podcast. Podcast is now a certified word trademark on the blockchain through Cognate Incorporated CM certification. If you'd like to be a guest or a sponsor on this podcast, please contact InvestorIdeas.com. Investor Ideas reminds all listeners to read our disclaimers and disclosures on the InvestorIdeas.com website, and this podcast is not an endorsement to buy products or services or securities. Investors are reminded that all investment involves risk and possible loss of investment.